Great. Well, we're on the air, live. EDC meeting for August 4th, 2021. So we'll call to order. And at this point, we want to introduce the new council liaison, Susan Olson.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll have questions for you later.
Uh-oh.
And our new commissioner is not here.
Correct, yep.
Okay, so let's go to item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Frank, would you start us out?
Surely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Frank. Frank is a vet, so that's where I knew I could count on him.
Absolutely.
So we'll go to approval of minutes for June 2nd. Any questions?
Chair, I will note that there'll just be 2 small corrections made to the minutes. On page 4 and 5, the date at the top is incorrect. It wasn't updated, so that'll say June 2nd.
Okay. Any other questions about the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Approval of minutes.
Let's take a vote.
Oh, we're going to take a vote in regards to approving the minutes.
Yes, you have a motion and a second now. Please hold
Okay.
the vote.
So those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor? Well done. There is no, as far as consent, just keep moving. And management reports, old business, really is none. So we want to go to the council liaison updates. There we go. Susan.
Good evening, Commissioners. I don't have a whole lot of updates, but I did want to point out that we had an update from Stan Karwowski on our last meeting, and it was an update on all the development that's going on in the county. You're welcome to look at my paper version. It's also online. And then Stan's presentation is online as well, so it's pretty good. It's kind of high level, but it's some good info and kind of reminds you of what's actually going on in the whole county versus just Oakdale, but good stuff.
Okay.
And happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Yeah, I've got a few. So we've had, our police chief is now, is he retired now?
Yes.
He did a great service for us. What is the status of a new one?
We're going through the recruitment process, and we're in the semifinal stage right now. And I believe they're coming in for interviews at the end of August.
Was there ever anyone internally that was looked at?
There are internal and external candidates.
Okay,
Yep.
good. I've got a few more questions,
Sure.
as long as I've got you here.
Do my best.
And is it correct that I've heard that our community development director, Bob Streeter, is leaving?
That I don't know anything about.
Okay, all right. From what I hear, he is.
Okay.
So I'd like to know as far as, because he's very involved with the EDC. Obviously, he gives us a great direction on that, and so we'd love to know if that's the case and how that came about. Is a lot of questions, obviously, in regards to that. Okay?
But if I get any information, I will definitely update you guys. Right now, I don't have any.
Okay. And with the, and real close to my heart, the food truck fees have been waived. Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. So I've had clients that have the food trucks in, and I think it's a great thing for the employees, great for the morale, be able to bring food trucks in different times of climate, and they were having some issues in how much they were paying.
Oh,
And
really?
it's great the council saw that that was one of the hurdles. But I think they still need to be inspected, though.
Correct, yep. Our fire department goes in and has to do specific inspections inside the unit, I believe.
Yeah, which
Yep.
would Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, but we did waive the fee.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, pretty nice.
I think that's all I have for questions.
I just had a question about how did our liaison switch?
We switched because Colleen's husband, Jeff, the new member, is on this
Oh, okay.
commission, and my partner, boyfriend, whatever, is on the planning commission.
Okay.
So that's why we flip-flopped.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
Good for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. I think next is the special election of chair.
Yes, and I can help walk us through that process. So our previous chair, Mark Landis, his term expired at the end of June for the commission as a whole. So now the position of chair is vacant, and the EDC bylaws require that we hold a special election to elect a chair to fill out the rest of the 2021 term. So Bill is currently the acting chair until we do this special election. And then the results of the special election that we hold right now will take effect immediately. So we have a formal process laid out in your packet that we'll follow. The first step is to nominate candidates for the chair position. And the nominations don't require a second, but any member can second them to show support if you like. So if you would like to nominate someone, you say motion to nominate Commissioner blank for the position of chair. And so,
I nominate Bill Burns for Commissioner of Chair. Chair.
Thanks, Frank.
We need a second on that?
does not require a second. So,
Okay.
and there can be other nominations as well.
I do have a question. I think the last election, Bill, you had said, I don't want to do that.
So
It sounds like maybe you reconsidered, so
I
that's
have definitely reconsidered.
Good.
I'd really like to do it now.
Good.
Yeah.
As if you don't have enough to do, but what's one more thing, Bill?
I'm taking your lead, Frank.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Keep busy, it'll keep you young.
There you go.
So when there are no new nominations, and we can take our time, someone should make a motion that the nominations are closing, and that does require a second. So someone should say motion to close nominations for the position of chair.
I'll make a motion to close the nomination for chair.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. I have ballots that we can use to make this official, or we can just go ahead and do a voice vote. It's your preference. When there's just one candidate, we don't have to use ballots if you don't want to.
I think we can just do a voice vote.
Sounds good.
Seeney's the only one running, I guess we don't.
Okay. Okay, I'll ask, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. The motion carries, and Bill Burns is the chair of the EDC for the rest of the,
This isn't a 10-year term.
it's not, no.
Lifetime.
And here's your,
Should've
I do need
negotiated
someone to make
contract.
a specific motion. Okay? Please, someone make this move. Motion to elect Commissioner Burns for the position of chair of the EDC for the remainder of the 2021 calendar year.
You need someone to move, I'll move that. You need someone to move, make that
Yes,
motion?
thank you. And can we get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations, Bill.
Thank you.
It was a hard-fought victory, Bill, but we're proud of you.
Well,
You worked hard at
The
getting this
key here is
nomination.
Lene, though. You got to have her.
You worked hard at getting the nomination. You
Yeah,
camp-
if you could return all the
campaigned-
posters
you
to my house.
campaigned, Yeah, you campaigned hard and fast.
Okay, so now that Bill has been elected chair, the position of vice chair is vacant, and we need to hold an election for that position. So I will need to go through a very similar process.
Who would
Same
like to be vice
numerous
chair?
steps. Yep. We need to nominate candidates for the vice chair position.
Can I nominate myself?
You may.
I'll nominate myself as co-chair.
Good job.
And we don't need a second, do we?
Do not need a second for that part. Mm-mm. Are there any other nominations? Someone should motion to close nominations for the position of vice chair.
I'll motion to close nominations for vice chair.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. And again, I have ballots. If you prefer a voice vote, we can do that.
Voice
No.
vote.
Okay. All those in favor of Dave Halper being the vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, someone please make this official motion. Motion to elect Commissioner Halper for the position of vice chair of the EDC for the remainder of the 2021 commission year.
I'll motion.
And a second?
Aye.
That was Bob.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. You may assume your roles immediately. And congratulations,
Thank you.
Commissioner Halper.
Dave, that's a bump in pay.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Get an extra Tootsie Roll.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question here? Linnea, this roster on the second page?
Yeah.
Is this all up to date?
Yes, it is.
That's it, all, these people are all members, correct?
Correct. Yep.
I see Scott is on there. Didn't he not get
That's the minutes from the last meeting.
yes?
That was the
This
call to roll.
roster right
Oh,
here
okay.
is what
Okay.
is the most updated information. It's at the very end of the packet.
Okay,
Yep.
I was looking at the wrong one. Okay.
Yep.
We're good.
Yes, so David, just a note, David Lewis is resigning. He's moving out of Oakdale, so we have 2 vacancies on the EDC currently.
How do you recruit for that? For those positions, just put it out on the website and,
It's on the website and commissioners, the word of mouth. Yep.
And what are the rules, regulations, as far as do they need to reside in Oakdale or work in Oakdale? Do you know?
The EDC is a little bit unique in that they can be representatives of local business as well.
Okay.
Residency is not required on the EDC.
All right.
Is there a skill set we're looking for, like residency, like anything in
No.
particular? Okay.
No, just an interest in the purview of the commission.
Okay, so for those of you in Oakdale who are watching, if you are interested, get a hold of Lene. All right, shall we move on to the forefront technology?
Yes. And if it's all right with you, Chair, I'll just go straight into the Bethesda when I'm,
Please do.
okay. Okay, so tonight I wanted to update the commission about 2 major projects that are coming to Oakdale. One that will be bringing new jobs and one that will bring new apartment homes, including affordable homes. And both of these projects support many of the city's goals that are outlined in the 2040 comprehensive plan. So first, let's look at the new development plan for the Forefront Technology and Office Campus. This one is kind of an interesting look at how our land use regulations, like guiding and zoning land, can work to support our economic development goals. So up on the screen here, I have a location map of the Forefront Technology and Office Campus. It encompasses 122 acres located on County Road 14. Here's 14 right here. It abuts the new Willowbrook neighborhood that's beginning to be developed. And it runs alongside 694 on the west and Ideal Avenue on the east. See down below here is the Oakdale Marketplace. Here's Target, LA Fitness, that area. So land uses in this campus are regulated through the future land use guiding stipulated by the comprehensive plan, as well as the zoning ordinance. So this campus is guided for future land use as a business campus in the 2040 comprehensive plan. And that means that the types of businesses that can locate there are corporate offices, light manufacturing uses, and office uses. Then when we get to the zoning ordinance for this site, it is a planned unit development zoning for the campus that allows for office uses and research and development uses. And this is a special zoning district that was created when 3M owned the property. And they also, at that time, owned the land that will become the Willowbrook neighborhood, too. So I just want to point out that the special zoning district for this area is more restrictive about what kinds of land use can go here than what the comprehensive plan says. So that zoning district was created in 1995 to accommodate the world headquarters of iMation and to create a multi-user business park for 3M and other office industrial users. Like you know, iMation went out of business several years ago. Slumberland purchased the campus in 2016, around the same time that the city was undertaking a small area planning process for the Willowbrook neighborhood. And Slumberland has since rebranded the campus as the Forefront Technology and Office Campus. So the 4 existing buildings on the site, you can see they're kind of connected in a chain. They comprise about 550,000 square feet, and they house a number of office and research and development companies. And there are 65 acres of land remaining for development on this campus. There's about 50 acres here in what we call the west expansion area, and there's about 15 acres in this east expansion area. So Slumberland has pretty well filled up their tenant spaces in the existing buildings, and now they are looking to develop the remaining areas of the campus. And so they've partnered with United Properties to develop the vacant land, and they're focusing first on the west expansion area. So Slumberland and United Properties are proposing to designate 4 parcels in that for future development in the west area. So you'll see there's parcel A, which is what we're going to be focusing on tonight. Then there's B, C, and D here. So those are 4 parcels that they're planning for future development in the near term. So as part of planning for this future development, the developer asked for an amendment to be made to that special zoning district to allow 2 additional land uses. The developers stated that there's a high demand for light manufacturing and for office showroom or office warehouse type space, and that allowing those uses would realize development on the site a lot sooner than waiting for an office or a research and development user. So they have put together an initial proposal, a phase for development for parcel A, which is about 24 acres here. And they're looking to build 310,000 square feet of new space on this parcel. So depending on the number and type of businesses interested in the location, the site could be developed as one large building like this. This is option 1. Or it could be 2 smaller buildings like this. And the developers have stated that typical businesses need approximately 20,000 to 60,000 square feet for their operations. So there could be several different users in these buildings. So to consider a change to the PUD to accommodate this type of request, we have to consider the intent of the comprehensive plan as it applied to this area. Go back to this. So The business campus future land use guiding of the forefront area is intended for uses that provide high-quality employment opportunities. And the city's economic development goals and policies in the comprehensive plan include maintaining and increasing living wage jobs, and to provide a continually improving quality of life for all residents, and also attracting and retaining businesses that complement and diversify the city's economic base. So the city determined that allowing light manufacturing and office showroom or office warehouse uses in this campus is consistent with the future land use guiding, that business campus idea, and it's likely to provide additional employment opportunities in a range of industry types that add to the diversification of our economy. And also, in order to better support the economic development goals of the comprehensive plan, and the intention for this area to be a center for jobs, the PUD amendment required that 25% of an office showroom or office warehouse space be dedicated to office activities, since most of the job activity takes place in the offices and not the display or storage space. So the previous special zoning district for this area only required 20% for that. So with this amendment, it was bumped up a little bit. And that was to ensure that our intention to have more employment opportunities with these new uses that are allowed gets realized. And then developers have flexibility to spread out the office space between the uses in the building. Some users might have less office space and some might have more. It's overall, the total for the building should be 25% office space. So the City Council approved the request to amend the PUD on June 8th. The amendment applies specifically to Parcel A for now, and that's where development is anticipated soonest. And additional amendments to the PUD might be considered in other areas of the campus in the future. But for now, the developers are putting together their site plan applications for the new building or buildings on Parcel A, and we expect that that'll be in for review this fall. So if you have any questions about the forefront plan, I'm happy to answer them.
Wasn't originally Slumberland going to move all their warehouse space and their office, their headquarters and everything to Forefront?
Yes.
And that hasn't happened yet?
My understanding is that they have their offices there, but they did not build new buildings like they had originally planned.
I have more of maybe a process question that, do you know when this was proposed? So the city council has already approved it. Do you know when it was proposed?
Proposed?
That this change be made?
I don't know the exact date that it came
Well,
to.
here's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
We're an advisory committee, right?
Right.
And you did a great job informing of kind of how this came about and the history.
Yep.
But all of this stuff, we find out after the fact.
Right.
And if there was, I don't want to slow the in processes down, but
Right.
if there would have been here's what they're proposing. Anybody in the, EDC see any issues with it? And then it kind of goes forward saying, yep, the EDC understands it, they think it's a good idea. I'm not sure if timing like that is possible, if that's even would be a function of the EDC, but it would certainly make me feel more useful
Right.
in this capacity if not everything was kind of after the fact.
Right. Yep. I understand what you're saying. So the required review for this went through the Planning Commission, of course. It's primarily a land use decision. So, and the application that they made were land use applications. So an amendment to their zoning district, right?
Sure.
But I certainly see what you're saying about, that the EDC would like to provide comment on things like this. Sometimes there is time for an opportunity for that. With planning applications, there is a statutory regulation of how long you have to review an application. So it's 60 days review timeline. So those get a little crunchier. And so I note what you're saying. This one didn't come to you. I will say that like I tried to stress, the comprehensive plan was the guiding document that really led this review. And the EDC was instrumental in creating the comprehensive plan. Many of members were on the advisory committee for that and reviewed the goals and policies and provided input there. So certainly your input was in this decision, not specifically, but generally.
Hey, with parcel A, it showed two different versions, one with a huge, long building, or the other option was the two buildings.
Yep.
And, you know, we've got a great resource here in Bob Stiglich he owns a lot of properties in Oakdale. Wouldn't it make sense, I mean, instead of that huge building, which would make it look like a warehouse, have you found it to break it up into two buildings for a business type of thing?
Well, there's pros and cons, of course.
Right.
I mean, they're pretty big buildings, so I think it probably gives them some opportunity to change the look of the campus.
With the two buildings, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the two.
I think it would look, go ahead. Sorry, Lene. Oh,
I don't need
I
to
can't
interrupt.
see any other economic benefit, or unless you're using it for just pure, high rack storage warehousing, and that's not what we're talking about here, because you said there's a 25% office requirement.
Yep.
Is that a minimum requirement, or?
That's a minimum, yeah.
Minimum, okay.
Yep.
Then if it's a minimum, then of course you're gonna need more parking if it's more than that, but it's probably based on 25% for cars, for parking, 25% office.
That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that, what the parking was based off.
But if it's if it was gonna be used as a pure, like a 35 or 40 or 50-foot high warehouse, then the bigger the better. But for multiple users, a little more flexibility, I guess, to have it. I guess the big building actually is more flexible because you can demise it anywhere you want. But I think having two buildings is kind of nice.
I think aesthetically it would look better with two. I mean, you're on 694 and you're into Oakdale, and instead of this huge building that looks like the Ark, you're going to be able to see a little bit, something broken up.
It is a trend, you're seeing it around the country. These big
Is it?
buildings, yeah. They're dressing them up so they look decent for what they are. They look pretty good. But they're pretty common to see. Travel just about anywhere where there's new buildings being built, and you'll see these big buildings, these big boxes.
Yeah. And that parcel C up there is right at the entrance, where and that's a really nice looking piece of land, obviously, when you drive by there for forefront. Boy, you'd hate to see him tear that all up to throw another office, and hopefully that's way down the road. On parcel C,
Right.
yeah.
Are you hoping that nothing is built there?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll say it out loud. I
Okay.
like the looks of it without, yeah. Anyway,
A question regarding the planning. So with the planning and the approval, and especially with office buildings that have a requirement of so many office hours or office workers, is the post-pandemic working style like taken into consideration when these decisions are made? Just kind of looking at my own personal company with 15,000 employees, we are downsizing office space constantly and consistently and moving to a work from home. And so my concern, I guess, would be more around the fact of, is there going to be buildings that exist with empty offices?
so to start with, I'd say that the amendment to the PUD reduced the amount of office that's required at the Forefront campus. Before, what was allowed here was really only office, or office use, or a research and development office with lab space. So when the developers came with this request, they were citing things like, there's just not the demand for office space. And that's why the market conditions are not supportive of, the uses that we can build here. And that's why they asked for light manufacturing and the office warehouse, office showroom to come, to be allowed as uses here. So that was in recognition of changing market for office. And that trend was a pre-pandemic trend as well, that there was overbuilt office in the metro area generally, and less demand for new office space. So that, we knew that there would need to be some changes up here.
Absolutely, thank you.
Any other questions? Shall we go right to Bethesda?
Sure.
Not Maryland, but
All right. So yeah, let's move on to look at the new Cornerstone Village, Oakdale apartment homes that are proposed by Bethesda Lutheran Communities at Helmo Station. Here's a location map. The project property is located at the corner of 4th Street and Helmo Avenue, and adjacent to what will be the Gold Line Bus Rapid Transit Guideway. So the bus is going to come from the west, it'll travel east on 4th Street along this, and then it will dip through this area here and kind of hug the parcel that we're talking about, come down to here, and this is where the Helmo Bus Rapid Transit Station will be. So the Cornerstone Village project will be the first development at Helmo Station to be constructed in accordance with the Helmo Avenue Station Bus Rapid Transit Oriented Development Plan. That's a mouthful. We call it the BRTOD plan. So here is the Bethesda parcel right here. And here you can see the guideway, and then the station here, and there'll be a plaza here. So this is a plan that was developed and approved by the council back in 2018. And this lays out the framework for development around the station. So this area had been planned for an office business campus, and that also was stagnant for many years. It did not develop like the previous owners hoped. So the station was an opportunity for something new to be planned here. And so now it's planned for a mix of multifamily residential, maybe some townhomes, and also a small retail component, and also some job space as well. So really a mix of uses, all designed to be taking advantage of and supportive of the transit investment that's coming to Oakdale. So, and that investment, the Gold Line is planned to be operational running in 2024. Okay. So this plan, like I mentioned, it describes the land use framework, auto and pedestrian circulation. You'll see there, these are some new roads that will be built in this area. It has a park and open space plan, so this will be a new park area coming to some open space here. And it also describes the infrastructure necessary to redevelop the area into this transit supportive, economically vibrant area. So this was really to leverage the investment in the Gold Line to increase options for Oakdale residents for housing and jobs, and also to increase the tax base for the city. So the Bethesda project is just the first of several that are in the works for the Helmo Station area. I think you'll be hearing more about new development coming up in the next few months in this area. So Bethesda received all their land use approvals from the City Council just last month on July 13th. So those approvals included platting the land for development, as well as the site plan to construct an apartment building with 71 homes for rent. So this is just the very basic site plan. The building is kind of a funky arrow shape here because of the parcel. Here's the 4 streets here. Helmo Avenue is here. The BRT guideway, the bus will be running right here. And then access in and out of the parcel is right here, right across from 3rd Street, right there. So the building will be called Cornerstone Village, and it's going to include, oh, here, I'll pause and show you. This is the site plan with the trees on it. I always like to see the trees. You can see that there'll be lots of nice landscaping around, buffering from 4th Street and all around here. This is a playground area for the families that will live here.
Does that area, right now as it is, there's like a trucking company, I think, on the
South
tip.
of there.
No, there's
Just south
nothing
of
here.
there.
It's
No, not where
open.
there it is.
Oh.
But just looks like on the south end of the property. Does it touch into the blacktop, do you think? You know where I'm talking
No,
right there.
are you talking about down here where the
Yeah.
Dave
okay.
Johnson's, the Crossroad Properties
Yeah.
buildings are? Yeah, that's down here. It will not touch that.
Okay.
That area will,
Eventually go away to
yeah, it'll be
something else.
redeveloped
Yep.
in accordance with this plan. But this, the Bethesda site is open
North of
land.
that pond that's down there then.
Yeah.
Where's the station in that?
The
Point it out.
station, right here.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I got a question. I don't see any parking spots there.
This is the parking lot right here,
Where?
right here. This gray box
That's for
that
the
I'm
people
circling.
getting on the bus, is that correct?
Yep, yep. So the other thing to know, Frank, I know you're looking at that and thinking, that's a small parking lot, right?
Yes.
So the station directly south of us in Woodbury is going to be a giant park and ride station. So if people are really coming and need to park, they're gonna park at the Woodbury
Okay.
station and get on there, okay? So this one will, serve Oakdale residents who live around here. Some commuters, if you wanna come in from Lake Elmo, sure. But if there's not enough space here to park, you just go across the new bridge, this is the new bridge, into Woodbury, and you park at the Woodbury station.
On that bridge, that's gonna be Hadley Avenue Bridge, is that correct?
Helmo.
Helmo
Helmo
Avenue,
Avenue Bridge,
okay.
yep. Oh, my mouse is going
And that's
crazy.
gonna go over to catch up to Buelenberg Street over in Woodbury?
Yes.
Is that open to auto traffic as well? or-
Yep.
Okay.
Autos, the bus, cars, bikes, and pedestrians all will be able to use this new bridge.
When are they talking about starting the bridge?
I don't know the exact start date for the bridge, but
Okay, so would that
it's
be?
gotta- it'll be
The highway
2020.
department's gonna be involved in that too, I suppose?
I would
yes, it's
think
going
so.
over the freeway.
Okay, right.
Is that a parking lot or a parking ramp?
It's a parking lot.
What's above the parking lot? What's to the north of it? Do you-
Multifamily, so this gold color
Yeah.
is apartments. And the red is showing that the first floor of those buildings is expected to be retail. So little shops and houses above and behind, or apartment homes above and behind.
So you have apartments, and they need to have parking for the apartments.
Yep.
Where is that?
It will be underground parking. It'll be
So
structured
their
parking.
overflow kind of will be the parking lot also that's used?
No, they will not be allowed to use that as overflow parking for the apartments.
Well, but common sense says you don't need a sticker or something to park in there if you're taking a bus.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, any more questions about the stationary plan? It's been a while since we looked at this, I know. Okay. There's the site plan, beautiful trees. Okay, so it'll be called Cornerstone Village Oakdale. It's going to include both market rate rents as well as at least 50 apartments that will have affordable rents. And up to 17 of those affordable units are going to be specifically dedicated for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So this is a specialty of Bethesda's, that they create these communities that are a mix of affordable and market rate housing, and they also are intentionally incorporating adults with disabilities. And so this is a unique product. There's a Cornerstone Village Victoria that is in Victoria, Minnesota, that Bethesda has built and operated. And this will be Cornerstone Village Oakdale with the same kind of model. And they do kind of intentional community building. They have a lot of common area in their building, and they have an on-site director of activities that, plans things to really get people getting together, having fun together, interacting in their apartment community. So, go ahead.
Have these people committed to this building, to all this? So they're committed to it, correct?
They're as committed as you can be at this point. So I'll talk a little bit more about that,
Okay,
Frank.
all right.
That's okay. So Bethesda is seeking tax increment financing from the city to address extraordinary costs related to the soil conditions on this site and also the extraordinary cost of construction materials right now. And that is all in support of the development of this affordable housing. And without tax increment financing, Cornerstone Village Oakdale cannot be developed. The project has already got significant financial support from the federal, state, and county partners. So a lot of different levels of government have already brought money to the table for this project. And the project also has the strong support of a group of Washington County parents of adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and that parent group has expressed their support and asked the council to support the project. The 2040 comprehensive plan, you're hearing me talk a lot about that tonight, supports Bethesda's project and the use of tax increment financing for the construction of affordable housing. The comprehensive plan set a goal of building 791 new affordable homes in Oakdale to meet our future needs for housing. And the comprehensive plan also establishes TIF as an applicable tool to support the development of affordable housing. So this Bethesda project would achieve about 6% of the city's goal to build those 791 new homes. And additionally, more homes specifically to serve people with disabilities is an identified housing need in our comprehensive plan. And also, the comprehensive plan has established as a general policy that financial assistance to ensure the financial feasibility of development and redevelopment in certain areas like Helmo Station area is appropriate. So in June of this year, the City Council adopted a resolution establishing fundamental terms for tax increment assistance to Bethesda to support the project. And the City Council is considering the request for financial assistance in its final form at their August 24th meeting. It was scheduled for August 10th. Your packet says August 10th. It will be pushed to the 24th just to work out some final details. But that's where this project is right now. So they will not buy the land without assurance that they have a complete financing package. So that when you asked how committed are they, they're very committed. They have a lot of resources committed to it and a lot of resources invested in it, but they don't own the land yet. And I'll add too that the city, as long as everything continues to move forward, will sell a tiny portion of land to them to make that triangle parcel whole.
Okay, what is the process on the TIF money, and how's that going at this stage for this project?
So at a high level, it's going well. Like I said, the council adopted their fundamental terms for, given this information and these circumstances, we support the project and we're willing to support it with these terms. And so there's a complicated statutory process that you have to go through to establish a tax increment financing district, and that is what we're going through right now. I'm working on that. That's my project. So that's what's going to the council on the 24th for their final approval, is the creation of a TIF district that could provide that assistance in this area.
Okay.
Frank, along with Bethesda, as far as their commitment, they're also sponsoring tomorrow's chamber meeting over at the Lake Elmo Event Center. So
Are they really?
they'll be putting on a 5 or 10 minute spiel on just what we've been talking about.
Good,
So it should be informative also.
good.
Linnea, has city staff or council or planning commission, have they visited the Victoria site that would be similar to this?
Not that I'm aware of. We have been,
Haven't. I would think that would be a good idea, just to see, you know, if it's a similar development.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Shall we move on, or you got more, don't we?
that's it. I realized I got caught up in talking. I didn't show you the final picture.
Oh,
But this is a rendering of what the building will look like. This is Halmo Avenue right here. And this is the bus guideway behind it. There you have it.
Would that TIF district apply to just this parcel, or is it a larger? I'm ignorant of how that works.
It's a good question with a complicated answer, and I'll just try and keep it simple. We're actually establishing two different things. We're establishing the Halmo Station area, which is this whole area, as a redevelopment area where the city can use its powers as an economic development authority. One of those powers is the power to create TIF districts. This parcel would be designated as a TIF district, and the financing, the financing would be generated from the value created on that parcel. It's most likely that the support to Bethesda would use all of that, all the TIF available there. But if it didn't, if there was some like marvelous cost savings that came up, there was a TIF left over, it could be used in other parts of this redevelopment area to support affordable housing
That
or
was my
other
question.
redevelopment needs.
That was my question, is if
Yep.
that could be used for other parcels.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one reason why we established, we're hoping to establish this whole area as a redevelopment area rather than just focus on the Bethesda parcel. Because it may be that other sites would also encounter the same soil problems and need assistance.
Linnea, with this right here, your picture you have,
Yep.
if you've got it designated to be an apartment building or whatever.
Yep.
Is it locked in, and that's what it's going to be, definitive? If it doesn't get built as an apartment building, it's going to stay weeds?
Yes, because there is when I talked about a planned unit
Yep,
development district, there is a special zoning district that is this, that regulates the land uses. in
and
the
that was
areas.
voted on by the city council then to say this is it, right?
Yep, yeah. And I
Okay.
will tell you that there is enormous interest in building apartments at this site. The phone is ringing off the hook for
Okay.
developing apartments at this site. It is very attractive. The transit investment is very attractive. The plan itself, the certainty that is provided by this plan, saying this is what we want, this is what we've already decided we're going to support this, that is really attractive to developers. So
Okay,
I don't have any worry about it
No,
being
no.
weeds.
Are
These-
these nationwide developers? I mean, they're good credentials? They have
Yeah,
good credentials?
yeah. Nationwide, I would say they're Twin Cities apartment developers that are
Okay.
of good repute.
So
Yes.
they know their market pretty well, I'm sure,
Yes,
correct?
yes. And this plan was created with lots of input from market experts, so developers, market studies, architects. It was designed to be implementable. I will point out that these stripey areas right here are areas where there is some flexibility. They're called the flex parcels. You cannot read that. It says flex. But these are areas where it could be apartments or it could be space for jobs. It could be office or light manufacturing spots.
or parking?
No, not
Not
parking.
giving up on the parking,
We're not doing parking.
no parking. Maybe the
The
parking
parking's
lot
down
could
here,
be
though.
2 levels.
Yeah.
Could be in the future.
Yeah, there we go, okay. You say we got a chance,
Sure, yes.
okay,
In this gray square.
right there,
Yes.
yep, okay. All right, shall we move on to commissioners' updates? Any other questions for Lynette? Great job.
Thank you.
Shall we start down to my, Aaron, do you want to start? Any questions? or
No updates or questions from me.
Me either.
Stacy?
Just that we're ending summer programming for our school-age camps, and we are getting ready for fall preschool, so we're still enrolling for that. We're also having a benefit on October 8th at Oak Marsh. It's a dueling piano show. Buy tickets on Oak Marsh's website, so.
And this is
invite
for Carol
everybody.
Matthews Daycare Center. Yes,
Otherwise, that's keeping us pretty busy.
good deal. I'll move down the end of the table. Bob?
I know there's a lot of discussion about offices not being needed as much anymore, but with the property that I own, I can say that there's as much activity right now as I've ever seen.
As you've ever seen.
Right.
What are they looking for?
Well, combination of office and warehouse. Some all office, small offices,
Yeah. Light manufacturing?
yes.
Yeah. That's great. Are you at 100% right now?
Well, it's a moving target, but I may be shortly.
Wow.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were at
100%.
100%?
Long time.
Yeah. Good for you.
Many years.
Gary?
Nothing to add, see.
Well, I just want to mention, yesterday I interviewed Bob Streeter on the Oakdale Update program, and we talked about all these new projects coming into Oakdale. And I want to say, I don't know, 10 at least that we touched on. I mean, there's so much going on in Oakdale. It's just absolutely unbelievable. So many things going on. And, you know, we talked about this, and we talked about the Lennar development, of course, at the north end of Oakdale. I don't know, a couple other high rises and just all kinds of stuff. Anyway, it was a very good program, so if you all get a chance, should be ready to go in the next week or so. But look it up, Oakdale Update, and the Oakdale, on the city website, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, back to me. So I have a few questions, and then
Certainly.
that, number one, we've got a, Oakdale Chamber has got a meeting tomorrow at the Lake Elmo Event Center. So, again, we're going to have the guest speaker is from Bethesda. Should be a good one. Looking forward to the dessert already. And Lene, these questions are, I guess, directed to you as far as from the city.
Okay.
For the Willowbrook construction up there, has there been any unforeseen issues or anything, or is it just going smooth?
There have been no unforeseen issues. It is going smoothly. And we are expecting that construction of homes is going to begin in late August, early September, after the plats have been recorded for that site. So
Okay.
they're ready to move forward.
So the single-family homes will be built first?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. There will also be, not long after that, Continental Properties is building rental townhomes in the southeast area, this corner of the site. That'll be adjacent to, well, like across the street from the Forefront campus.
Right.
So those will be starting soon as well.
Oh, okay. Any news on the Tanners project around Tanners Lake?
We are talking with a developer who's interested in building a multifamily apartment building there. That's something that needs to go to council for their review and blessing on entering into a preliminary development agreement for that. And that's something that will likely go to council in September for their review and approval.
Are they taking up the whole piece of parcel or leaving some of it for some other type of development, do you know?
So the city owns 2 parcels there, and they're separated by a privately owned parcel. We have the lakeside parcel, which is kind of a funky triangle, and then there's also a nice rectangle up on 4th Street along 120. And so I think that this developer would be looking at both parcels But it may end up that they would only take the lakeside parcel.
Okay. The filtration system that was just put in, or I think they're done, up off Helmo, it was put in, why?
It was put in as an interim measure, so it was to both accommodate increased demand now and in the near future with all the development that's coming, and an increased need for filtration kind of connected to that demand. So the long-term plan is that there will be a centralized treatment facility, likely on the site where Public Works is now, that will have more capacity to treat water. But until we're at that stage, we needed this interim filtration system to meet current and growing demand for treated
Did any of
filtered
the
water.
3M money come into play for that, or was it absorbed all by Oakdale?
I don't know the exact answer to that question.
Okay. So in regards to the city property, the 0.5% sales tax for the upgrades for all that, where are we at with that?
So in a special session last month, the legislature did approve the city's effort to put a referendum question on the ballot for November 2022 general election ballot, asking voters to approve a local option sales tax.
Oh, okay. All right. I think that's all I have.
I actually have a question off of that. Dave and I were talking after the last meeting about what we can do as a commission to get involved in communication with that, because we think it's really important to make sure that people are voting and that are voting yes. I mean, all of us have vocalized that we're in support. So if at all possible, if there's any way that we can be involved in the plan, that would be perfect.
Thank you. Yep. I will make a note of that.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? So, and you updated the EDC roster then?
Yes. Yep, that's at the end of the packet. And if there's any other questions about other development projects in the city, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay. And if there's not, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
There we go. Hey, wait a minute. You get to adjourn now, Frank.
We're good.
That's the only reason you wanted that position.
That's it, absolutely. Yeah, that was